Brighton 1, Manchester United 0, a last minute, maybe even after the full-time whistle again, penalty, deciding the game for Brighton, joined by Stephen Howson. That was pretty horrible at the end, wasn't it?
I don't think we're allowed to complain about that. The length of time after the probable full-time whistle that the goal was, considering that we'd actually had a full-time whistle.
Yeah.
That still blows my mind, by the way, that was allowed to be a thing. Surely once the full-time whistle is done, that's it.
Yeah, obviously not.
Wasn't this 3 years ago?
Yeah. It's under Solskjaer, wasn't it?
Is that what it was?
Yeah. What did you make of the game then? Because obviously first half I thought it was a pretty even game. Brighton slightly more possession, United more chances. And then second half it felt like we just lost whatever semblance of chance creation and control we had. And Brighton, I wouldn't say it felt inevitable that they were going to score because it took pretty strange circumstances. But all of a sudden the chance of United winning felt much, much lower, didn't they?
I thought it was going exactly how I thought it would go, in all honesty. Literally, I thought we would create chances the way we were creating chances. And I thought they would create chances the way I expected them to create, the way they did create chances. And I thought it was tight. And as the game, I think I tweeted probably about 5 or 10 minutes to go. And I was like, game's going almost exactly how I thought it would go. And it's been almost fairly exciting for a 0-0, as exciting as a 0-0 can be. But I would have took the 0-0 in all honesty. And I don't know why Luke Shaw's decided to try and catch it. That was a mad decision, especially so late in the game, because probably would have cleared that, get a whistle, take a point back home, and you'd have to call that a pretty good result, I think it's fair to say, with the form they're in and the circumstances we find ourselves in. And I know people will kick off about claiming a point against Brighton away is a good result, but I think it is, or it would have been. But we didn't get that.
Yeah, Brighton are a good team, aren't they? And they're a team that seems to be improving as well. Like, they're not just, some stagnant team. They look very good at the moment. How do we stop this season? And I don't just mean top four, because I think, you look at the table, United are still comfortable favourites for top four, but there's still that City game, and I think Jay spoke about it with Andy, and I want to speak about it with you. How do we stop us being in our worst form of the season by the time that game rolls around? Because most likely City will have just won the league, will quite possibly have a Champions League final afterwards, and United may well have just scraped top four, or who knows what else. What do we have to do between now and the end of the season to turn this around? Because we need to be able to rest some players, even if would be great, let alone finish top four.
Trying to think of an analogy that makes sense to what we could be going down to Wembley to witness. It might involve a casting couch and the local rugby team and your nan.
And just for clarification, we aren't on the side of the rugby team on this, are we? We're the nan, aren't we?
Well, no, I think we might be watching our nan.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. Look, the favourites don't always win cup finals. They don't. There's a lot of factors play into it. Nerves can play into it. The fact that City have got I know Pep's doing things this season that haven't been seen for about 25 years. That's how innovative they are. They're just copied from 2 decades ago. But the principles of play aren't any different. They're still going to have the ball on the halfway line or higher. They're still going to leave an enormous amount of space behind them. That still gets beaten by pace. And Manchester United have got one of the quickest forwards in world football. Our strength is their weakness. And their strengths, and there's a lot of them, are our weakness. So it's going to be a case of who can cover up their weakness the best and exploit their strength the most. And ultimately, that is what every single football game boils down to. But in this particular set of circumstances, look, I've seen Manchester United under Solskjaer put out some horrific 11s and beat Manchester City under Pep Guardiola at home. We've seen that. That's not something we've necessarily seen Erik ten Hag be able to do, where he can completely play off the back foot and grind a result out. Maybe that's the the evolution that we need to see, as well as an improvement in away form under Ten Hag? Can you go and just not necessarily abandon your principles, but can you get the job done? Like, ultimately, I saw Sir Alex Ferguson abandon his principles. Barcelona sticks out as one of the most memorable backs to the wall games I've seen United have, where you go, okay, we are clinging on for dear life here, but we managed to get the job done. 2 clean sheets, off we pop. I think that to be considered a true great, sometimes you have to get the job done in the face of adversity, and I think if he gets the FA Cup done, he'd have to be on the same level as Sam Allardyce.
Almost. No, I mean, not above him, because no one's above him, but you're sort of challenging him there.
That's it, yeah. No one's above him. You're allowed in the same room and to breathe the same areas.
Yeah, but that is really the limit.
You can even have a pint of wine on the shitter like he does.
A pint of wine in a pub by himself with a burger that I think he brought in from another establishment as well, which is my favourite bit of that.
Do you reckon he has a dump with the door open?
I think he has a dump with the door off. I think he boots the door down and shouts everyone in. I think he's the most sort of courageous shitter you've ever seen. I don't think United are not going to finish top 4, but is there a chance we don't? We're 4 points clear of Liverpool. We've still got a game in hand, but I don't know if this is the game in hand, but our next game is West Ham away, which West Ham, I know they got beaten by City in the end, but put up a hard-working, good performance, the sort of performance that we've struggled against this season. Is there please, if you can, just try and sort of assuage my fears slightly that this top 4 race might get a bit cagey.
Right, Liverpool can finish on 71 points, okay? They have a far superior goal difference, so let's call it 72. United need 9 points from 5 games. We need 3 wins out of 5, assuming Liverpool win all of their games. And they're on a pretty strong run at the moment.
Yeah, 5 in a row.
So it's possible that could continue, but I think probable that they'll probably drop points. Now, they've got Aston Villa, which I think is their trickiest on the running. They've got Brentford, which they could drop points to Brentford. Leicester are shite at the moment, so you'd expect them to roll Leicester over. And then Southampton, final game of the season. Southampton are shit, so there's every chance that they could absolutely pump those. But, assuming they only get 9 instead of the 12, then I think United would only need...
they get 9, that'd put them on 68. We'd need 6 points.
Yeah, so we need 2 out of 5 wins. If you don't get 2 out of 5 wins, you don't deserve to be in the fucking Champions League.
I know, but it still feels shit.
That'd be fair to say, wouldn't it? And what have United got left? So I know we got Chelsea. There's 3 points. You got
we've got West Ham at the weekend.
Wolves, who have been poor of late. Bournemouth away, could go either way, and then Fulham as well.
Yeah.
You telling me United can't pick up 3 wins in that?
I think we can. I think we can, and I think we probably will. But it is scarier than it ought to be, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
From the position of comfort which we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on to tonight's game a little bit. Who did you think played well? Who not so good? Because I thought, unfortunately for me, I said it in the 92nd minute, Luke Shaw was my man of the match today. I thought he was excellent. And then, as he, in his own words, said, "It hurts a lot. I can't explain why my hand is up there," which, we've all said that excuse at one time or another. Who do you think was good?
I'd agree with
who do you
Luke
think
Shaw.
wasn't good?
I'd agree with you on Luke Shaw. I thought everyone else had a quiet game. Marcus was like missing a finish. It was getting into great spaces and getting into great positions, and then the final ball or shot wasn't quite there, but he was the big threat, the big asset. Outside of that, it was a pretty ordinary game from everybody. I think Brighton do that to people. They take the ball off you, don't let you really have it back that much, and therefore you don't see how good some of your players can actually go and be, on the ball effectively.
Yeah. Okay. Just looking ahead to the West Ham game, What do we need to do differently, or is it just a case of, unfortunately, Brighton are a stifling team? They play with good possession. Or do you think same again would beat West Ham, or do you think we need to do better than we did tonight?
I think you play Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
I understand why he played Fred. I think after watching the semi-final, that midfield got outworked and overrun a little bit. And I don't necessarily think the same happened. I think it was a different game because of the energy of Fred in there a little bit. Now, when you have Fred over Eriksen, you don't have the same level of quality on the ball, and and that's just a case of what does the manager favour? Does he favour the quality on the ball, or does he think he wants the work rate? But that stat still hasn't changed. Manchester United are undefeated. Have got an incredible record when Fred, Casemiro, and Bruno start. So when Fred, Casemiro, and Bruno don't start, you're rolling the dice that you might not win today. So I would say if you want to win against West Ham, you start Fred, Bruno, and Christian Eriksen, and you're halfway at 3 points.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, to be honest. And, it just does that, and then we win, and then it's sorted. Then perfect. Thanks, Steve. Right, thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Still, we're back tomorrow with the Brew and all sorts. We've got the news as well.
Ian Irvin's on with us tomorrow from The Athletic.
Ian Irvin from The Athletic joining Jay and Stephen Howson tomorrow as well. So make sure you check that out. Thank you for coming on, Steve. Thank you for joining us at home. Brighton 1, Manchester United 0. Start Eriksen at the weekend and all be forgotten. We'll see you in a bit.